Hello, and welcome to this week's Business Transformation 101 podcast. I am your host, Bill Fegis, and on this podcast, we will be discussing new leader assimilation. A new A player leader is starting in your organization. To ensure this leader hits the ground running and the team is highly productive immediately, I strongly recommend implementing a one-day new leader assimilation session within the first week of the new leader's start date. The sooner the session is held, the better. This session should be part of the onboard candidate step of the talent acquisition process that was outlined in the Volume 4 podcast. Note that this process should be used for internal promotions to new leadership positions, as well as for new leaders hired into the organization. A good new leader assimilation session accelerates the integration and effectiveness of the leader and their new team. It is a simple, straightforward process that only takes one day or less. The objective of the session is to set expectations, communication methods, cadences, and to clarify operating styles for both the leader and the team. These items would normally be addressed in due course, but this approach gets them addressed immediately. I recommend utilizing a third-party facilitator that has experience with assimilation sessions to run the one-day session and get the best results. This graphic shows a typical new leader assimilation process. This process can potentially have fewer or more steps depending upon the needs of your business. The first step of the process is pre-session preparation. The facilitator meets with the new leader to explain the session. They review the specific details of the process, the expected benefits, and the leader's role in the process. They ask the leader to prepare to share with the team their insights on these four areas. Who am I? What do I believe? Specifically, what are your visions and values? How do I behave? Meaning, what is your leadership style? And finally, what will I do the first 100 days and longer term? It is important that the leader buys into the process. If the candidate is an A player as defined by your acquisition process, there should be no issue and the leader should be very engaged in this assimilation session. The second step in the process is the kickoff and introductions of the session with the new leader and their team. First, the facilitator reviews the objectives of the session, which are understand the new leader and their expectations and leadership style, understand each member of the team and how to work together effectively, and thirdly, identify potential issues to monitor and address as required. Next, the facilitator has everyone introduce themselves, including an icebreaker in the intro. For example, what was your first car or the first concert you attended? Lastly, the facilitator reviews the session ground rules, which are be present and engage, be candid but respectful, and of course, confidentiality is paramount. What is said in the room stays in the room. In the third step of the process, the new leader presents their views on the four areas that were identified in the pre-session preparation. Questions, who am I? What do I believe? How do I behave? And what will I do during the first 100 days and longer term? The facilitator will lead a discussion with the leader and the team to ensure there is a clear mutual understanding for each area. The next step is a life story exercise. While this is an optional exercise to include in the session, I would highly recommend it since it provides a deeper level of insight and understanding for all the members of the team. Each member of the team, including the new leader, takes approximately 10 minutes to complete a life chart. The life chart is a simple line chart displaying the significant highs and lows of your life from your first memories to today. Each team member posts their chart and gives a brief narrative of the highs and lows. This is a very powerful exercise and provides a new understanding and awareness of each team member, both of themselves and of each other. It can provide new insights into your leadership style and potentially your future leadership choices. The fifth step of the process is 6 questions for the new leader. For this portion of the session, the new leader leaves the room and the facilitator works with the team members to document their inputs on a flip chart on the 6 questions. Questions are, what do we really know about the new leader? 2, what don't we know but would like to know about the new leader? 3rd is, what concerns do we have about their joining the company? 4th, what should they know about the team? 5th, what challenges will they be facing? And 6th, what things are going well in the organization? This portion of the session will typically take about 1 hour. When the team has their inputs completed for the 6 questions, the facilitator invites the new leader to rejoin the meeting and the team and facilitates a discussion on the inputs the team provided for each of the 6 questions. The objective is to answer and or clarify as many of the team's inputs on the 6 questions during the discussion. The intent is to build a mutual understanding across the team and get everyone aligned on expectations. The facilitator captures the agreements from the discussions as well as the items that require follow-up actions. The follow-up actions should be prioritized by the team and written in SMART format, specifically specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. In the final step of the process, the facilitator wraps up the session by asking for important insights about themselves and about the team from each team member and the new leader. What is each team member and new leader most excited about and looking forward to in the future? Finally, the new leader and team set up a plan to review the follow-up actions. I suggest that this review be part of the team's standard periodic communication. In summary, when a new leader is hired or an individual is promoted into a new leadership position, ensure that a new leader assimilation session is implemented immediately with the new leader and their team to allow quick integration of the leader and the team. This accelerates the effectiveness of the team and provides substantial benefits to the company. This slide provides some references for your consideration. In the interest of continuous improvement, I invite feedback from our listeners. Please share your thoughts and ideas on these weekly podcasts, and feel free to suggest topics which you believe would provide useful for you and our listeners. Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. Please come back next week when we will discuss short-term planning.